So the question today we are going to discuss is about pranayama practice. What is so special about pranayama? How is it different from simple slow paced breathing where you bring down your breathing rate to less than 6 per minute? There is a lot of research on slow paced breathing that it can reduce anxiety, it can reduce your stress, can bring parasympathetic dominance. Why we have to do different kinds of pranayama techniques? Why can't we simply perform a slow paced breathing, just breathing down the breathing rate? This is the question. Let me first ask the opinion of my students, and then we can go to the sadhakas who are there in this meeting. Yes.
Namaste, sir.
Yes.
So, pranayama and slow paced, what if the person is asking what is so special about pranayama? Patanjali explain it is one of the 8 limbs of Patanjali's eight limbs of yoga. Patanjali says that pranayama is he explains as tasmin sati shwasa prashwasa yorgati vicheda pranayama. So he says that pranayama is not just about breathing in or breathing out, just as it is in slow paced breathing. In slow paced breathing, we are inhaling slowly, exhaling slowly, agreed. But in pranayama, it is not only, it's not at all about only inhaling and exhaling. The, the gap between the breathing, the where you inhale and before you exhale, you practice kumbhaka, and he brings about that stillness into the picture. He explains the importance of that stillness. What is the importance of holding the breath inside? What happens when the changes that you experience when the body is still? And that is the important aspect of pranayama, which is not at all experienced in slow paced breathing, sir. So, though there are research proving that slow paced breathing is important, of course, we slow the breathing so that we become aware of the breathing, we feel calm, that is all there, but pranayama cannot be equivalent to slow paced breathing because there is no kumbhaka or retention of breath in case of slow paced breathing, sir.
So why is kumbhaka important?
So when there is kumbhaka, so when there is retention inside the body, the changes that we experience, there are researchers saying that kumbhaka is also retention of the breath also produces the effects of stillness of mind, and it brings lot of physiological and spiritual benefits, sir.
Okay, let us hear from Vinay.
Good morning, sir. So in Hatha Yoga Pradipika, they have mentioned about the Ashtakumbhakas. In the Ashtakumbhakas, the main concept of Ashtakumbhakas is the way how we are breathing in and breathing out is not enough when we are regulating our breathing pattern. The main concept is when we hold our retention in our breath inside or outside during that time, scientifically, few studies have proven that it will improve the parasympathetic dominance in our body so that it has more calming effect on our.
Slow paced breathing also does that, no?
Yes, sir. But during Kumbhaka, first it will stimulate the sympathetic slowly and then it improves the parasympathetic activity. During that phase, it has more effect on the calming effect and this relaxing effect also. And along with that, one shloka will explain about the chale vatam chale chittam nischale nischalam bhavate. During that phase, how the thought process will affect, and that the same way our breathing will also will affect. To regulate that breathing pattern and thought process, pranayama is very important.
So very good. Vinay has given a reference saying that the breathing and the thoughts in the mind are connected. Chale vate, chale chittam. As the breath moves, the thought in the mind moves. If the breath stops, thinking also stops. Hmm? So that is how he says that it is not only slowing, but the kumbhaka phase is important. That is what differentiate. That is what students have told. Now the floor is open for discussion. I request.
Observing our breath is the most important. So when we observe, when you are doing, so it has got what is known as the pranamaya kosha. The the Vayana flows through that, and what they say, 72 lakhs of nadis are stimulated when you observe the breath. So the Surya Nadi or Chandra Nadi, what they say, that is the, and also if you stimulate the left, the right hemisphere will be stimulated, and if you stimulate the the left hemisphere will be stimulated. So that is how, and EEG also has been done, and there is a balancing of this nadi is very, very important, and it helps in the catabolic and anabolic process also. Metabolism also will be evolved. So when the technique is balanced like anuloma, vinuloma, so going both nostrils and what we call as Ida and Pingala and Susma, many times the Susma we are not using it. Only Ida and Pingala only will be using. For example, if you take the Nadi Sodhi, we inhale through the left nostril and closing the and the thumb with Nasika Mudra. This all happens with our conscious mind.
Yes.
We are telling our mind to be mindful. So when we are mindful, we can control our breath also, to numbers also we can reduce also, and when we like Kumbhaka we can hold also, so that when we hold in the Kumbhaka, there is a lot of changes. It will go deeper into the every cell, and metabolism takes place, like oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange will takes place, and
Gandhi sir, I got your point. I think I got your point. So Gandhi sir brought in the domain which actually I was expecting my students to tell. The Nadi, the science of yoga, the Ida, Pingala, balancing and the connection of the contralateral hemisphere with the nostril. That is not happening in slow paced breathing because you are breathing through both the nostrils at the same time. Yes, it brings its own autonomic benefits, but then ample amount of evidence now, research now shows that selective nostril breathing has differential autonomic regulating effect, and that kind of benefit can be observed when the Surya and Chandra nadis are selectively stimulated in the pranayama. Beautiful point, Gandhi sir. Let us hear from Anjuji.
Thank you, sir. I have to confess that after all these years of doing the yoga class in the morning, we've not gone into the technicalities of the text and we haven't read that. So we won't be able to give you technical answers, sir. And Gandhi sir is a great example of how we all, jab kuch nahi pata to phek do thoda sa. But sir, to my mind, what I could understand is that when we are saying slow-paced breathing, we are simply looking at all emotions as a monolith, that you need to be calm. Whereas that's not true. Sometimes it's anger, sometimes it's frustration, sometimes it's sadness, sometimes it's confusion. And each of those different emotions will take slightly different reactions. Any more than you can just put salt in all the food and then expect the taste to be the same. Different spices will bring out different flavors. In the
Wow.
same way, different techniques will help us in different ways. So when I'm calm and I need calming because I'm sad, or when I need calming because I'm angry, the techniques may be totally different. And I think what our seers have gone into is recognizing the differences between them and then giving us very specific situations and saying, this is how you deal with it. So, to that extent, once we know things better, and here we've taken the advantage of your knowledge, you tell us what to do, and we quietly follow it. But the differences are there, and each of those, and instinctively, sir, after all these classes,
Yes.
I find that I can do deep breathing in a particular way when there's sadness, and do deep breathing in a slightly different way when there's anger. As you said, vent all your anger out. There are two or three specific asanas. They're
Yes.
not the same as for sadness.
Yes.
The alom vilom gives you a different kind of texture to the responses of your mind.
Yes.
So that, I think, is how you can't just have sab mein namak dal do and your food will be better, which is a very Western concept, no spices. We've got very fine-tuned responses to different situations, and dhania will be better for this one, ajwain will be better for the stomach. In the same way, pranayam very subtly gives us the different situations and how to tackle them, sir.
Very
Thank you.
beautiful. Very beautifully answered, Anjuji. In fact, I had one slide which I will just show here because you have spoken about it. Breathing pattern are associated with different states of mind, so anger requires a fast paced breathing, or anger naturally leads to that kind of a breathing when that emotion comes in. Whereas in meditation, definitely a different kind of breathing ratio is required, and Hatha Yoga Pradipika and other texts talk about this ratio of 1:4:2:1. That is the pranayama that is to be done when you want to go into the higher states of yoga, that is pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So that's why different emotions are connected with different patterns of breathing. They naturally generate some patterns of breathing, and to release or balance those emotions, you may fine tune your breathing. Say, for example, you use Bhastrika to release your anger and frustration. You may use cooling pranayama to bring about calmness into the system, relieve your anxiety and fear. Whereas when you are depressed, you may use more activating kind of pranayamas, where in the joy also you see that the inhalation is abrupt but the exhalation is more prolonged. So there are different patterns of inhalation and exhalation, and even the phases of inhalation and exhalation have been shown to be associated with different kind of emotional states. So yes, this point is very well taken, and I think it is a very novel contribution to how pranayama are different from slow paced breathing. The example of salt in and different spices in the food is really amazing. Thank you so much, Anjuji. Anybody else would like to share their views on this before we go into shloka? Shobana ji.
Good morning, sir. I just wanted to add pranayama is controlling of breath. So, controlling and balancing. One additional thing everybody has told, and I agree with Anjuji also, that we have various techniques, but we are also looking at aligning with the universal energy, harnessing the universal energy, and not just focusing on our breath. So, in alignment with the universal energy is what we are trying to do with pranayama, is what I understand.
Beautiful, beautiful,
Thank you, sir.
Shobana ji. So this is pranasya ayamaha. Prana is the life energy. The whole universe has its own life energy. Pranasyedam vashe sarvam trividhe yat pratishtitam. You know. So in the all the three lokas, whatever that is established is actually sustained by an energy that is known as pranic energy. No. So Madeva Putrana Rakshasva Shrinscha Videhi Naiti. So the sage is praying that, like mother protects the child, oh pranic energy, please protect me. So in the same way, we first harmonize the prana within ourselves and then align it with the universal prana. There are numerous examples. If you go to Kumbh Melas, you will see there are sages who have not eaten anything for years together. They are just surviving on water. So some energy, there is some kind of a change in their metabolism, or they can survive on very less food. So those mechanisms of deriving energy in a subtle way into the system by connecting and expanding the consciousness, there prana plays a very important role. So I completely agree with Shobana ji. Let us hear from Kambam Raghunath ji.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
It's my personal experience that for me, pranayama actually reduces my strength, stress and anxiety for me. More often than not, I used to be at the end of my mental. So now I'm able to control myself. And more than anything, my lung and heart functions are very, very good so far as my pranayama activities are concerned. It has given me a lot of relief for me whenever I do my pranayama. And it will be my surprise to you that it does actually increase my digestion. When I do this pranayama and do this particular thing, many times it has increased my digestion also. And beyond everything, my mental clarity. I'm able to just keep myself away at this particular point of time. And this is what I experience out of my pranayama activities, sir.
Beautiful, beautiful Kambam Raghunathji. Very genuine, very beautiful answers. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says that the Vaishwanara Agni is connected to your pranayama, is connected to your balancing of the inhaled and the exhaled air, balances the samana prana, the digestive prana, is connected to the prana that inhales and goes up, and the prana that removes the waste product from the body, the apana prana, which goes with the gravity. So there are 5 kinds of prana in yogic knowledge. The first prana is the mukha prana that governs all the sensory functions in the head region and thinking in the mind. The second prana is the upward moving prana, which is the we call it also prana only, which generates the inhaled air, moves up. And then the third prana is the apana prana, which generates the exhaled air and also the downward moving functions of the body, micturition, urination, defecation, all kind of activity. Then there is fourth prana, which is known as udana prana. This udana prana does the reverse peristalsis, hiccups, vomiting, and also when the prana has to leave the body, all the prana merge into udana prana, and this prana can go against the gravity and take the journey of the other koshas. The annamaya kosha remains here, but all the other koshas travel into the next body. And there is the last fifth prana known as Vyana prana that governs the circulation throughout the body. So these five pranas are understood, and different pranic techniques can stimulate a particular prana. You can understand prana as governing different physiological functions. So as you talked about your digestion, a prana that works on samana like Kapalabhati, can definitely improve the Jatharagni and bring about digestion. Whereas the prana where we are doing Antara Kumbhaka and Bahaya Kumbhaka, especially here, can definitely help your lungs and heart. So these are the physical benefits. But apart from it, the overall balance of the pranic energy has definitely can bring mental clarity, enhance your attention, cognition, your viveka, your willpower. All these kind of researches have also been done. So it is just not about slowing down your breath. There are different kind of activities, and this pranic knowledge is very dynamic. Let me show you some references. So here, Sri Krishna in 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita says, Apane juvhati pranam, prane apanam tatha pare, prana apan gati rudhva, pranayama parayanaha. There are various kind of sadhanas that are available. There are specific yogis who actually practice and get mastery over the science of pranayama. What do they do? They sacrifice the outgoing breath in the incoming breath and incoming breath in the outgoing breath. Actually, what Sri Krishna is talking about here is that the inhalation becomes very slow and starts merging with the exhalation, and the exhalation becomes very slow and starts merging with the inhalation. Slowly, they are able to reduce the rate so much that whether you are inhaling or exhaling, the person sitting beside you cannot make out. Now, these yogis will reach a state where their oxygen consumption in the system becomes so less, they inhale, exhale. See, first the margin can be big. You inhale, your chest is expanding. You exhale, your chest is going down. Slowly with abhyasa, this practice, this range can reduce so much that your breathing in and breathing out becomes almost equal and balanced and becomes very subtle. So they, Swami Rama and others have demonstrated a state of suspended animation where even the EEG became flat, breathing, waves, they were not visible. How did that happen? The yogi was able to reduce his metabolic rate so much that outwardly the devices were not able to detect any activity. It doesn't mean that there was no prana. The prana was gathered throughout the body and mind into a single point between the eyebrows and was retained there. In Bhagavad Gita, there is another sloka that says that during the last moment of your life, Bhruvor Madhye Pranam Aveshya Samyak. That shloka says, Om iti ekaksharam brahma vyaharan ma manusmaran. What a person should do in the last moment of his life? Om iti ekaksharam. One should chant Om. Brahma. Ma manusmara. And with that Om, remember the very source of consciousness, the very source of this universe. And have this emotion that you are connecting and merging yourself with that source. You are going back to the source from where you have emerged. With that feeling, chant Om. What will that do? Bhruvor madhye pranam aveshya samyak satam param purusham upaiti divyam. all the prana gathered will merge into Udana prana. Udana prana will go up and go between your eyebrows, and then you leave your body and you will go to that source of the universe. So Krishna is telling here, these are the sadhakas who are pranayama parayanaha. Any thought that comes into your heart, any emotion that generates a lot of energy within you is all governed by prana, and you are spending pranic energy into that. Whether you do physical activity, whether you talk, especially the emotionally charged activity take up a lot of prana. So you show intense anger, and after that you get your headache and you feel very drained and fatigued. You have lost a lot of prana. So prana has to be preserved, prana has to be gathered, prana has to be concentrated into the body into a particular point, and it has deep healing effects also. You know? So it is the whole science of pranayama that is there in the yogic lore, and Sri Krishna is telling that here in a reference that there are specific masters who master only the technique of pranayama, and the essence of that technique is slowing down of the inhalation and exhalation and merging them with each other and reaching a state of metabolism where you are in equilibrium, not disturbing it at all, becoming so still. I have myself seen people who can increase their breathing rate to up to 300 and make it so still that people around them cannot even make out whether they are breathing in or breathing out. So the range in which your pranic energy functions is expanded in this particular science. And then as Kambam Raghunathji was saying about digestion, Sri Krishna tells in this sloka, this is actually a sloka which should be chanted before eating food. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritah. I am that energy that is residing within the physical body of the human beings. What is that energy doing? Prana apana samayuktah. Balancing the prana, the upward moving energy, apana, the downward moving energy, the samana, the central digestive energy around the navel region becomes ignited. With that balance, pachami annam chaturvidham. 4 kinds of foods are digested by me only. I do your digestion. And it is not, pachami doesn't mean digestion. Pachami means cooking. So you cook the food outside, I cook it again for you. One way of looking at it, your digestive system is the food has come. You consider that food that you have taken in as raw. Then what does the system do? It adds its own juices into the food. It adds its own heat into the food. It adds its own fire into the food and cooks it again. So there is another cooking done within you by the one who is cooking the energy for the whole universe. From a small insect to the largest whales in the ocean, everywhere this second time cooking is going on, and that Sri Krishna says that is done by your pranic energy, which is Vaishwanara energy, which is me. Patanjali talks similarly. He says, Tasmin sati shwasa prashvasa gati vichheda. Inhalation, exhalation, speed. Gati means speed. Slowing, softening, breaking of the force behind. See, the speed, the intensity of your breathing in and breathing out depends on how much attachment your consciousness has with the mind-body complex. The more deha bhava a person has, the more his breathing will become evident. It will become more labored, more conscious. The lesser the person is identifying himself with the mind-body complex, the more subtle and slow the breath will become. Similarly, the kind of activity that we do where we strongly identify with the senses and the body, that activity increases our breathing rate. For example, sex. Whereas when the activity is done when we are merging with the Swarupa behind, for example, Yoga Nidra, breathing becomes very slow and shallow. Patanjali is telling this Shvasa Prashvasa Gatir Vicheda is pranayama. First you will slow down and then you will gain control over your prana. Then you will be able to direct it to different parts of the body and use that sadhana in the very last moment of your life. Bhishma Pitamaha lying down on the arrows, the sage of arrows there, bed of arrows, held his prana, released it only when it changed from the Krishna Paksha to Shukla Paksha after 15 days. Because Bhagavad Gita also talks about the path that the soul takes depending on the time of death. So therefore, Patanjali tells us that inhalation and exhalation are like the rising and falling waves, but ultimate aim of pranayama is go to the very universal prana, which is sustaining our life. So somewhere, like the electric bulb is somewhere connected to the powerhouse, otherwise it cannot glow. In the same way, all of us are connected to the universal prana somewhere. And the whole effort is that you stop going outside, you turn inwards so that you find out that universal connection. That is why after every practice we tell you to turn inwards, go to the very depth of your heart, so that you are able to go to the very source and touch the fourth pranayama, which is the breathless pranayama. I think you people should show more interest. Patanjali Yoga Sutras, these texts are all available. If you just put in PDF, you will get Swami Vivekananda's commentary on Patanjali Yoga Sutra in Google. So I think we have reached a point where we should go beyond practice and try to really understand the technicalities. And Patanjali also mentions about the benefits of pranayama. Tatakshiyate prakasha avaranam. By doing that pranayama, the darkness covering the light is removed. Like Kambam Raghunathji told, I get clarity of mind. A person starts getting insight, viveka, into himself. So many patients who come to us and they tell that there is something in the practice of yoga. We become more aware of what we have been doing in our lives and where the problem lies in my life. So that awareness of the gunas, that awareness of your chitta and your emotions comes up by performing the practice of pranayama. Pranayama yuktena sarva rog kshayo bhavet. Ayukta abhyasa yogena sarva rog samudbhavam. But you have to be very careful. Pranayama done in a proper way can destroy all kinds of diseases. If not done properly, can give rise to many diseases. That's why we take you very, very carefully in this session. In fact, the real pranayama you do is during the yoga nidra, and you see how much preparation we do to take you to that state. First 45 minutes, just go in preparation. Real pranayama actually begins by Nadi Shuddhi and then taking you into the subtler aspect of stopping and slowing down of the breath. So, pranayama reva sarve pashyantu malahiti. Pranayama alone purifies all the impurities at the level of the body, at the level of the energy, at the level of the mind, and cleanses the system. So prana is connected to the light, to the insight. So these are the benefits of pranayama that have been described. You should also observe some precautions. What are the precautions? What is wrong pranayama? Avoid jerky breaths. Do not move your neck and head when you are doing pranayama. Keep your back very steady and still. Do not keep your back bent forward or excessively bent backward. Keep your attention on the touch of the air in the nostrils. Practice only for the suggested duration. Do not overdo. I have seen people getting manic attacks by performing excessive Kapalbhati and Bastrika. Do not retain the breath unless specifically instructed to do so, and retain it only to the ratio that is prescribed for you. Another important thing with pranayama is diet. You have to take a very, very sattvic diet. You should eat food and your stomach should not be heavy at all. The food should digest off within 1 hour. It should be so light. Taking heavy food, eating non-veg food and doing pranayama, the same prana will create diseases in you. So be very careful with this pranic knowledge and perform it always under the expert guidance. Thank you, all of you, for your wonderful inputs. Let us meet next week again. Namaste. Prachi, did you want to ask anything? Or Surya?
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask, so the slide where you mentioned about the Bhagavad Gita 2.49 slide, where we have to control our breath. Back. So the slide before this, 4.29, sorry. So, sir, in this slide, when we say that we have to sacrifice outgoing breath and incoming, and it merges, like, when a person is dying and the soul is going to leave, but so this is when it merges, but this is for normal human beings like me, like who will pass away. But I've just wanted to know, this is a query which I had a long time in my mind. When we talk of these enlightened souls and where they have this Jagrut mutts, so are you meaning those saints are not dead, but they are in this stage? Is it that? Like, when you said they put a machine to detect and you can't hear. So does that mean when people go to blessings of these, evolved souls, Atmas, I don't know what to call them, saints only, I'll say, these guru saints. So are they in this state, sir, where you cannot make out? I mean, that's my question.
Yes, yes. So definitely only the Annamaya Kosha is left. The rest of the Kosha never die. The Pranamaya Kosha never dies. The Mahamaya Kosha, Vijnana Anandamaya Kosha, and the core, the very essence of your Swarupa, it never dies. That is in line with the modern knowledge also, no? Energy cannot be created nor be destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. So nothing is dying here. Law of conservation of energy is also keeping that energy always there. Our problem is that we are bound by the laws of nature. Depending on what kind of vasanas I carry, my prana will take that structure and go into that body. These enlightened souls have developed that freedom. Now they retain the form they want. They can retain the energy they want.
Okay.
So if a person has been very violent in his life and his next janma is of becoming a leopard, then his prana will start taking the shape of a leopard after he dies, and he will attract those kind of elements in the nature, that kind of womb in the nature, and will go into that, and he will be in a leopard shaped pranic structure in the next life, because his emotions give the structure to the prana and decide whether the prana will be constricted or expanded. Expanded prana leads to higher lokas. Constricted prana leads to lower lokas. This is the yogic knowledge.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, somebody raised hand. Lita ji, please.
Question, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. I had a question. Is diaphragmatic breathing a part of all pranayama, or is it to be done only, for certain pranayamas, sir?
So there are different kinds of pranayama. Generally, we consider that of course the diaphragmatic breathing is a modern understanding where you are performing the breathing, where you are bulging your abdomen out when you breathe in and take it in when you breathe out. So this is called as deep abdominal breathing. If you look at the yogic texts, then they do not specifically talk about use of the diaphragm or bulging of the abdomen when you are breathing in or breathing out. Their more emphasis is on the rate of your breathing. When the faster breathing rate is done, it is called as kriya. When it becomes slow, it becomes pranayama. And their emphasis is on whether you are using the right nostril or the left nostril. This component of inculcating the diaphragmatic movement is a modern knowledge to yogic understanding, but there is no reference like that.
Okay. So the breathing will remain the same, or depending on the asana that we are doing?
Yeah. It depends on the asana that you are doing. And the whole focus is to go beyond body. So some people, if they are completely held on only at the abdominal level, then the purpose of pranayama is not served, because you are holding on to the body, you are holding on to your abdominal movement. So you have to go beyond body. So pranayama then says you leave the body. You actually have to reduce the prana in the body. You have to take it inside. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so thank you all of you. Geeta ji, yes, we'll take one last point. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. It's such a nice insight. We just go on doing what you say, but why we are doing, how we are doing, and what are the benefits, you tell us so nicely, sir. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Geeta ji.
I totally agree, sir. Really,
I like to bring in Kevala Kumbhaka, for example, even in the Brahmari also,
Yeah.
3D expansion awareness happens.
Super. Yes.
Yeah, 3D awareness.
3D
That is, we can see in Kevala Kumbhaka heartbeat, pulse, and they're all both are synchronized.
Yes.
We can even feel also the pulse and heartbeat synchronized in Kevala Kumbhaka. That gives when you are doing Savasana, when Brahmari is uttered. So we go for pointed awareness and linear awareness and surface awareness.
3D
All
awareness.
those things.
Beautiful.
Yeah, 3D awareness, it comes.
Beautiful.
So that whole body is completely vibrating from head to toes and gives a 3D appearance. That is very, very beautiful in Brahmari. We experience most
Actually,
important.
I would like to tell all of you that the way we have designed this module, it may, to the beginners, it may appear, okay, we are doing something, but as you will continue this sadhana, there will come a point when you will actually feel that expansion that happens in Yoga Nidra. When we merge with the universe, when we really merge with the infinite, that can come into the experience also with continued sadhana. So we have created a map. We have to just keep walking, be very attentive and keep doing it. In my opinion, I think we are in the right direction. We just have to continue digging, continue practicing for a long time, because Patanjali also says, Satu dirgha kala nairantarya satkara sevito drudha bhumi. For this to become really drud, become very strong and give you that experience, you have to do it regularly for a long time. You can call it as, performing one cycle in yoga is 12 years. Then you would say that you did some sadhana, if you did it for 12 years, something regularly. So, and we should be humble, we should be grateful to the sages, and with that reverence, we should practice. Then
Yes.
feel
I
that.
wanted to add that, sir.
Yes.
Should not be by force. Like 2-3 years, even if you practice without a trust in that, belief in that, and without surrendering, that real benefit may not come. But if you're surrendering, and as you rightly said, it will be very good.
Yes.
You can feel it.
Yes, Shobhanaji. Yes. And I wish.
And also we should develop gnana, sir. For example, the body, I'm not mind. So we should know what is the body, what is the mind. For example, mind is having desires and emotional feelings and other things. So
Yeah.
that we should get rid of. I'm not that emotions, I'm not that desire. So
Yeah.
body has got senses, sensations. So I'm not belong to that senses and sensations. Like that we should feel every day. When we are doing Yoga Nidra, I learn many things day by day. Every time I learn many things.
Yeah, that is visible. That is apparent with your comments, sir. Wonderful. Wonderful. So thank you so much. Yes, Srinathji.
Sir, basically, if you can post your videos, sir.
Yes, all videos are ready. It will be posted, Srinathji. I am aware of that. I was about to post it yesterday, could just missed it. I'll do it today. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste. Bye.
Namaste, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Excellence.